Today we have a special guest coming, and this special guest is what inspired this whole DIY. Hi, I'm Linda with Life on Summerhill, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out. So today we are going to dye Easter eggs naturally. That's right, we're going to be using vegetables, fruit, and spices. And this is an easy project now that I have spent a week in my kitchen trying to figure it out. So let's get started. To begin, I want to recommend you steam your eggs and then give them an ice bath. This will allow the color to come out more smooth. Next, dry your eggs off with a paper towel so they're good and ready to be dyed. Now, let's cut up all of your vegetables into small pieces. I used cabbage, blueberries, beets, and turmeric for this project. The cabbage creates a blue-greenish colored egg. The beets create a pink or reddish colored egg. The turmeric does a yellow, and the blueberries do blue. Next, place 3 cups of water in a pot to boil and add your vegetables. Let it boil for 15 to 20 minutes. Now remove the vegetables from the water and strain them into glass jars. I used wide-mouth mason jars, which hold 2 cups of dye. Next, let it cool for 15 to 20 minutes. Once the dye has cooled, add vinegar. I added 4 teaspoons of white vinegar to my 2 cups of dye. Now stir the mixture with a metal spoon. Do not use wood or it will dye the wood. Make sure to use a different spoon for each dye. If you use the same spoon from one dye to the other, it could alter the color. Next, add 2 eggs to each dye. If you need to make more eggs, you can double this recipe and then use a big glass container like this one that I used for blueberry. Now set your timer for 5 minutes and come back and check all your eggs. You'll find that the yellow or turmeric dyes beautifully just in 5 minutes. And here is an example of how the brown looks in the turmeric dye. Now let's talk about each color. I recommend 5 minutes of dye time for the yellow. And then after that, set your timer for 5 minutes each time to get it darker. For the blue, which is blueberries, I recommend 15 minutes and then set your timer for 5 minutes after that. For the best results for the pink color or beets is to let the dye rest overnight first before adding the eggs. Then let them sit for 2.5 hours. That'll produce a beautiful rosy pink colored egg. My favorite is the blue-green naturally dyed eggs where we used red purple cabbage. To get this beautiful bright blue color, leave them in the dye for 4.5 hours. And last are these beautiful green naturally dyed Easter eggs. Add equal parts blueberry and turmeric dye together and then stir it. Then leave the eggs in the dye for 45 minutes to get this beautiful green color. Now that all the eggs are dyed, I wanted to share with you my best advice or my best tips for dyeing Easter eggs naturally. First, when you add the vinegar, remember that this juice will dye anything and everything. So make sure to cover your clothes with an apron and cover your work surface with cardboard, paper, or cutting board that you don't mind getting dye on it. Second, make sure to use heat-safe glass containers. And if you get glass containers with a lid, you can save your dye for another day. Third, when leaving your eggs in the liquid, set your timer. This will help you keep track of what egg to pull out at what time. Fourth, make your dye baths one day and then dye the eggs another day. The dye will work much better the second day after it has had time to sit. Fifth, remember every egg is going to come out looking different. Now, you are probably wondering, why did we dye our Easter eggs with natural ingredients? First, we have been trying to live more naturally with our foods. Second, I wanted to have a pretty, naturally dyed egg option as a table decoration for Easter. And last, I had some adorable visitors come over, which is what inspired me to dye these eggs to start with. I want to introduce you to Snow and the baby chicks. These adorable chickens came to visit my house to take pictures, all the way from Paradise Found Farms. The first thing we did was set them up on a chair next to my Mora clock, and they did great. They didn't even try to get off the chair. The only thing we had a problem with was an occasional accident that they would have on the chair, and then they stepped in it. And then it got on other things on the chair. So we took a few minutes and cleaned up the mess and then got right back to taking pictures. Next, we decided that it was Snow's time to make her debut. And she was by far my favorite part of this whole photography shoot. I had no idea that I was going to have this much fun watching a chicken in my house while I was photographing and filming it. She made us all laugh, and we got so tickled at how well she posed in the beginning, but then she all of a sudden decided she wanted to go in the dining room, and no matter how many times we'd put her back in position, she would take off to the dining room again. Snow was so fun to photograph, but probably my favorite moment was when I got to hold her. And I didn't know this, but there's a certain way you should hold a chicken. So after Chris showed me exactly how to hold her, she let me hold her for a while. Now, the next photo shoot we did was over on my bench. And this one we really wanted to make it flowery and pretty, so we added some flowers to my basket and some eggs into another basket, and then put the baby chicks up there. If you'll notice in the basket of eggs, and those are actually duck eggs from Paradise Found Farm. The funniest moment on this side of the room was when this one chick decided to jump off the bench. He was looking around as if to say, "How did I get down here?" They did such a great job on this side of the room that we decided to put them all in a basket and carry them to another spot to do more photos. Now that they're all together and cozy in this basket, you could tell that they really didn't care what pictures I took at this point. So we snapped a few pictures, and the photo shoot was all finished. So what did you think? Are you ready to give dyeing Easter eggs naturally? It really is an easy project now that I've spent over a week trying to figure it out. I'm telling you, I spent a lot of time looking at posts, watching videos, and it seemed like everybody was leaving one little tiny thing out that was making all the difference in the world. So again, I thank you so much for coming here and joining me at Life on Summer Hill. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out. And please give us a thumbs up if you found this video helpful. Again, I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you soon.